vaccine is here. I don't think us common people will see it until July. So we're going to have at least one more semester on lockdown.
Do we need a break though? I mean, if we're going to be transferring, a lot of us are. Wouldn't it be good to keep up the momentum?
Vaccine is here. I don't think us common people will see it until July. That's me. Hold on. We're gonna have at least one more semester.
Okay, for a second I thought it was me. I was like, wait a minute.
Break though? I mean, if we're gonna be transferring, a lot of us are.
I closed my second tab, so I don't think that's on my end.
I don't think that's my. Hold on. Here we go. I couldn't find it. There we go.
All right, we should be good on both ends now. So y'all can see the thing lit up already. So we are live over here.
Live and streaming. We've heard the evidence.
All right, let's see. We have the agenda, minutes. Where did my bar go? Here we go. Let me go ahead and hit record and we can get started. Oh, wait, let me check the chat real quick. Oh, I was just saying we need to be comfy. Yes, Christina, we do need to be comfy. Where did my button go? See, I just did this last week, but it feels like it's been longer than that since I've done this. Where's my record? Wait, where's the record button? It's supposed to be right here. Okay, give me another second while I look for this. It's usually right over here, so I don't know where it is. It's supposed to be under more. Here we go. All right, I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 12:07 p.m. Before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and start us off with roll call. Mackenzie, I am here. Chris?
Here.
Christina? Here. Louise?
Here.
Michael?
Here.
Alex?
Here.
Jasmine?
Here.
Philly?
Here.
Kelly? Wait, did Kelly
Here.
ever come in? There you
Yeah.
go. Emmanuel?
Present.
Kyle?
Here.
David? All right, we're all here. I'd like to go ahead and before we proceed any further with business, I would like to acknowledge that we are conducting business on the native land of the Hahamanga tribe of the Tongva Nation and offer a moment of silence for those who came before us. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the approval of our agenda for December 2nd, 2020. If there's anything that's wrong on the agenda or anything that needs to be noted or changed, let me know now. If not, then I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by David, second by Emmanuel. I'm going to go ahead and bring that to a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Christina? Christina? Okay, I'll go ahead and come back to her. Louise?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Jasmine?
Aye.
Philly?
Hi. Is that Philly?
Yeah, Philly. Now it's you, Kelly.
Hi.
Emmanuel?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
All right, we're going to try Christina one more time.
Aye.
There we go. All right, motion passes unanimously. We're going to go ahead and move on to the approval of our minutes. I have been asked that we table the minutes of October 28th and November 25th because the committee member names were still not sent in. And so we do have the minutes for November 18th ready. So let me go ahead and pull those up right here. If everything is fine on these minutes and nothing needs to be edited or changed, then I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Only for November 18th, right?
Yeah, only for the 18th.
Okay, move approval.
Second.
All right. First by David, second by Jasmine. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Christina?
Aye.
Louise?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Jasmine?
Aye.
Philly?
Aye.
Kelly?
Hi.
Emmanuel?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously. We can go ahead and move on to agenda item 2, public comment on non-agenda items. We have no members of the public and there's nothing on the YouTube last time I checked. So we can go ahead and move on to agenda item 3, introductions and reports, starting with board reports. I'm gonna do this based off how I see you on my screens, and we're gonna start off with Kyle. Do you have anything to report?
The board reports aren't open, but essentially what I said on the board report is that first I had a Supreme Council meeting this morning. And at the meeting, we went over our emergency amendment, which we're possibly putting into the Constitution. We still got to iron out the details. And we also decided and finalized and approved our business affairs amendment. And that's going to come in front of the board next meeting. And I have to submit it today or tomorrow to Mackenzie. And we talked about how the associate students in general haven't been following the Constitution. So we actually have to enforce that. So we're going to be putting together a list of grievances against the associate students government to make sure that they're fall in line with the different standards enumerated in the Constitution. And in other news, I had a committee meeting. And in this committee meeting for the distance education, we talked about how our current standards for online education will be changing once we transition out of a pandemic, and how that's going to impact all the different regulatory environments that we're going to interact with. That's local, state, and federal, because there are different standards for each when it comes to for online education. And so we're drafting currently our distant education, what's called administrative policy, which is going to be put forth in front of, I think the associate students is going to approve it as well. And then it's going to be taken up the chain to eventually be approved by the administration itself. And this policy is essentially going to be enunciating all the different parts and the changes that we see in the future coming to the online environment. And that's pretty much the end of my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Up next, we have Michael. Do you have anything you would like to report?
No report.
All right, thank you, Michael. Moving on, we have Alex. Do you have anything you would like to report?
No report.
All right. Next, we have Emmanuel. Do you have anything you would like to report?
Yes, I just want to report that the upcoming AS Sustainability Committee meeting is coming up on Friday at 2 p.m. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Manuel. Up next, we have Philly. Do you have anything you would like to report?
I just would like to report two things. Is that I started on the finals relaxation week graphics, and also thanks to Luis for making the two other graphics. And for second one, I started on the onboarding for the virtual web editor training. So eventually I'll have access to the website in about a week or so.
All right. Thank you, Philly. Up next, we have Christina. Do you have anything you would like to report?
Hi. So this week we had another academic senate meeting on Monday, and when I went to that, they approved the resolution to basically what I sent you guys, but it was a resolution to kind of say that webcams are like, you're not supposed to enforce it, but they may have to do that during tests. But it's going to be, the professors shall let the students know beforehand. So they're trying to do something where they put it in the footnotes before you register for a class, but that's still in the works. But that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Christina. Up next, we have Chris. Do you have anything you would like to report?
So the final ICC funding committee is meeting this Friday at 4:45. A lot of discussion is going to happen at that meeting, including approving any funding requests. We're also going to talk about a stimulus amount to give to all clubs for spring 2021 and a better procedure of how to spend that money for spring. In terms of the privacy policy survey, it was my mistake over the holiday. I totally blanked out, forgot to add down to the agenda for us to approve today, but hopefully that will come down during another meeting. In the meantime, though, I will be, following up with Dean Fleming and Crystal about trying to get that out before spring, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Up next for reports, we have Louise. Do you have anything you would like to report?
Yes, there's a lot. So here we go again. Y'all know that Finals Relaxation Week is next week. We also are doing the Drive Up giveaways on Thursdays. So let your friends know to come out to that. from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And my committee is volunteering to help out with all of that. What else? Yeah, we did the mailers, we sent them out, and we got a lot of signups. So Carrie and I will be working on that on Thursday to be sent out by next week. Thank you, Philly, for making our graphics for next week. You're amazing. And what's it called? What else is happening? Holiday Angels. We had moved the deadline for gifts to December 14th. I mean, was it December? Let me double check. Hold on. If Carrie can also let me know. Where is it?
Yeah, so we did move it to the 14th.
Yes, okay. I was just checking the social media. So yeah, December 14th is when the gifts are due by, if you know anyone who's participating in that. And then I believe we're going to try to do the, if things all, end up aligning, the drop off pickup on December 18th. And we might need help from you all, board, to help with that drop off pickup, since we are trying to minimize the amount of people that will be on campus. What else is going on? Yeah, we'll have study sessions next week, time management, and with Jordan, meditation and yoga. So please come out. And I had my committee meeting on yesterday, actually, and nothing new, just let them know about what's going on and how they can help with the events and tasks. But yeah, thank you all.
Thank you, Louise. Up next for reports, we have Jasmine. Do you have anything you would like to report?
Hi, everyone. So the only thing I want to report is that I went to the desk committee meeting yesterday. We talked about the Black STEM /Rise Caltech collaboration, and that's with some of the folks that are a part of the, I forgot what committee they're a part of, but it's essentially the pathways to learning or pathways to success or something like that, with Dr. West, Melva from Mecha, and oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm like forgetting all the names. But we did have a really good conversation about that. And then we also talked about the Career Communities Canvas shell that will be launching very soon. And I can go ahead and drop the link for you all to look over. If you all have any questions or suggestions, feel free to let me or Mackenzie know. And then as for committee reports, I am appointing 3 members to my committee today. And that's it.
Thank you, Jasmine. Up next for reports, we have Kelly. Do you have anything you would like to report?
Yes, the largest thing that I really want to, mention is that Ms. Colross was able to give me some data for the legislation, and it's really exciting because you can see from the data that there's certain, racial ethnic groups that are being more impacted economically, and I think that's such a great talking point to bring up, and that's really going to help us focus in terms of fighting legislation that's going to meet the needs of our students. So I guess more specifically, like 40 or was it 40 or 50%? I can look at it again, but it was a very high number of Hispanic students that were actually facing housing insecurity, and that they were, that there's a basic needs issue with that as well. And it's targeted towards these minority groups. And because we're a minority serving institution, that just goes to prove our point even more. So that's really, well, it's not exciting, but it's exciting. The data is exciting. So yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. And last but not least, we have David. Do you have anything you would like to report?
I have no reports. Board session meeting is next Wednesday. Just let everyone know.
All right. Thank you, David. And last, we have my own reports. So like I went to Student Success Committee meeting with Jasmine and David. Like Jasmine mentioned, they did talk about the career communities, and we looked at some of the differences between the website and the Canvas shell. And in my breakout room, which I was actually in with David, we were actually asked to sort of share our experience with career communities and whether or not we had them and if they would have been beneficial. I feel like we had a really good conversation on that, since it's kind of new for us to be asked about this. At least I'm not used to sharing my story on how I chose my major. So that was a really good conversation to have. I also went to the accreditation meeting on Tuesday, where they told us that the ICER just needs to be approved by Board of Trustees at their next meeting on Wednesday. So after that, it'll be all well and done. Thea reached out to me on that, asking if AS could write a little blurb on what it is that we've been doing during COVID and the pandemic, since there's going to be a section of ICER that talks about what the campus has been doing with the different programs and classrooms and everything that's been done. So like, for example, they're going to include that the geology faculty went throughout California and collected 10,000 rocks for their students and distributed it to them. So that's just like one example of one of the things they're going to cover. This section of the ICER isn't going to be reviewed or judged against us, but we are being asked to share this. So it's really nice that AS is going to be included in this. So if anyone has anything that they want to let me know that we should be including in this little blurb, please send me that information either end of today or just as soon as you can, so I can go ahead and send that out to Thea as soon as possible, because they do want to wrap this up by Friday if they can. They are still working on the training video that Kyle and I mentioned last time. They're still editing everything and trying to keep it under 10 minutes. Crystal says that it's really cute. The animations that the kids they've been working with have been great. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they go ahead with that. And then lastly, they talked about how we have about 200 classes and programs that are 50% or more online. Crystal doesn't think that most students are going to finish online, but that's the stats right now on that. Other than that, that's all I have for my own reports. So we can go ahead and move on to advisor reports if they have anything they'd like to report to us.
Hey, you all. If you didn't get a chance to see the stuff, the lovely swag items that I was wearing, your beanies and your masks are in, as well as your kind of notebooks. They're huge. They're like a pad of paper, and all of these are Post-its, and there's a little pens. We also have our planners and our pens, and the pens are fantastic, by the way, going out. And last but not least, there's some other things too, but these are the fun ones. These are the little candles, the cacti candles. So for those of you who miss your cactuses that I killed while on quarantine, we can replace them with the candle version. So that is there. We will be handing these things out tomorrow without a whole lot of folks. Hold on a sec, because I'm expecting a phone call. Jordan, do you have anything while I take this?
Sure. So I just wanted to remind everyone, I know Louise probably said it, next week is relaxation week. I will be doing a workshop on time management on Monday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So I would encourage you all, if you need some pointers or some tips during finals week, to attend. Also, there was another thing I had to say. I forget. Please remember during this time, I know that we're all inside, we're all huddled. I'm freezing in my room because, like you, Mackenzie, my heater doesn't go all the way to the back of the room. So please make sure you're taking care of yourself. The flu and COVID are going around. So please only go out when necessary, social distance, especially if you're going to do these events. Make sure that you're taking all the precautionary measures. And also make sure you're getting sleep, studying, doing all those wonderful things that you need to in order to be successful as a student, but also making sure you're taking time out for yourself just to take a walk outside or do something that just kind of levels you out and grounds you out. There was something else I had to say, but I think Carrie's off the phone, and that's pretty much it. Oh, that was what I had to say. So my hours are going to be very, very, very slim in the winter as well as in spring. So if either of you, or if any of the people that I advised, so that would be Kyle, Louise, and I think Philly, once you get your committee together, please let me know when and what time you want to meet, so that way I can just work it into my schedule, because my hours are being basically cut in half. So I need to know exactly when I'm going to be working, so that way it would be great. Make sure you have your spring schedules sometime towards the end of winter, so that way I can work it in to my schedule as well. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'm still available through text and through email as well. But I just wanted to let everybody on the board know that my hours are just, they're getting cut half. So just let me know if you need anything from me ahead of time.
Thank you, Jordan. And I believe Carrie, do you have anything else to add to your report?
Yeah, I'm really sorry because I'm trying to coordinate. I've been trying to reach some folks for Holiday Angels. So a couple things. I'm going to say this, and I'm saying it on the record for the public. we have been asked several times by Francis to turn in and submit the names of the people you've nominated to your committees. And that's why we didn't, if you notice, we've got a lot of minutes on the agenda, but folks have not submitted the names to her in writing to them. So they cannot put them on the official record. Because they are not on the official record, I'm going to say now, if that's one of your committees and you have not submitted your names, I am no longer going to advise your committee because your committee is not legal because it has not been appointed. So I hope my meaning is clear. We have been asked to do this for 3 weeks. So you all need to go back and look at those minutes and see who made those appointments. And you need to email Francis that information today. If I don't hear back from her saying that it's been cleared up, if it's one of your committees, I'm not going to advise your meeting, and I'm going to ask that Jordan also not advise a meeting that has not been officially appointed. Get it together. It's been 3 weeks we've been asking for this information. There is no excuse. So go back, look at those minutes, and figure out who's supposed to be turning in what. So get that together. There's no excuse why these minutes can't be approved, because what's holding up a lot of those minutes are reimbursements, because we cannot move forward with reimbursements until those minutes are approved. So I'm also going to ask Mackenzie to take a look at that and then personally contact those individuals to get it done. And I really want this done by the end of today. Francis has been very patient and keeps asking me. It's not their responsibility to ask you to do your job. So do your job. Okay? All right. On happier notes, we are moving forward with the Holiday Angels, and it's shaping up really well. I'm excited about it. After I finish this, I have to get on that phone call and call CalWorks. We're using a new program called Dreamlist, and it's a great opportunity for students to virtually pick out gifts and toys for students. And so far, it's been going really well. Thursday is the Holiday Angels. Again, I think Louise has asked for support. If you're available, please do sign up. Just be very, very cognizant. We are under this whole, I'm watching the news. I'm waiting for the news to come up to see if we're going to be placed in stay at home by the governor today, because the numbers are extraordinarily high. And at that point, it really does affect what we do. So if you're interested in coming out, I would love it. Talk to Louise, make sure we have folks signed up, because I know she's got her committee signed up. We just can't have a lot of folks hang out like we did last time, which I know it really sucks because that was the fun part. We all got to hang out together. But if we do this, we just need to kind of take it by shifts and make sure that we're social distancing. We're coming up, Jordan mentioned it, we're coming up on finals. It's a stressful time. I know that some of you were up quite late last night because I was getting emails from you. So try and take care of yourself. I know it's hard. You're almost to the end. You're making it to the end. If you are not planning, I didn't mention names. If you are planning on traveling or not being present, what's so weird, because in the past, winter intercession was hard because people were traveling back and forth. We still have to have AS meetings. So if you're not going to be in this time zone, let us know so we can make arrangements so that you can come. Okay. Other than that, Dean Cobb is not here today. She's not well. She's at another meeting, but she's also not well. And we're doing a lot of funding. Other than that, we're almost to the end, folks. The end is in sight. You can do it. You know, one last push. And like I said before, if you weren't here when I mentioned it, next semester, you don't have to be enrolled for winter intercession, I believe. Kyle, if I'm wrong, correct me, or David. But you do need to be enrolled in at least 9 units for spring. So really consider, I know you're all working really hard. This is really, really hard. unless you need 18 units, Kelly, to graduate or transfer, really consider give yourself a mental break and maybe take 9 units unless you need it for insurance, right? And then you got to do 12. But if you don't need to take 18 units, let's kind of calm down on that and practice some self-care. Because like I said, I don't think we're going to be in full lockdown for at least, my guess is probably until the summer or after. I don't see us coming back. I see us partially returning to campus in person in September, and that's partial. So take care of yourselves. And I'm so proud of you for hanging out, hanging in and making it through the semester and serving your students. So thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Up next on the agenda, we have financial reports. Michael, do we have any financial reports for today?
I don't have anything to report.
Right. Thank you. Then we can go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, shared governance discussion. Like always, if you have anything that you would like to talk about more that was talked about in shared governance, now is the chance that you can go ahead and speak on that. So I'll give you all a couple of seconds to go ahead and unmute yourselves if you have anything you would like to say. All right. Hearing nothing, then we can go ahead and move on with our agenda to action items. We have none. Moving on to discussion items. Discussion item A, feature events. So I put this on the agenda so we can. I know we have a couple of events that are going on right now, and I know Louise had a bit to talk about for some of her events. But before we get into that, I also just want to put this on here to talk with all of you how we have been doing the restrictions on campus and how we can no longer be doing drive-throughs. And so I just want everyone to keep in mind to be having a different idea on how it is you want to be running your events. And if you have anything that you think you might want to do but aren't sure how to do it, now's the time that you can go ahead and bring up those ideas so we can sort of brainstorm together how you can run those events so we can go ahead and start planning now. But I'll go ahead and hand the floor back over to Louise because I know she has a bit that she can talk about under this item.
I'm so sorry. I was typing something really quick. Okay.
No worries, you're okay.
So we're under future events, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So as you know, Holiday Angels is coming up, and Carrie and I have been putting together some things to give away, like we usually do every year, to the kids, because we do a dinner for the parents with the gift giving, but this year obviously it's just a drop off. So we're thinking of doing something extra to give the kids, which is like, cookies or little small like toys that just go along with the gift. Just do a little something extra. So we do need to possibly make a meeting sometime soon. So we will probably send those out to you all once I get a set date for that and send you an agenda. But yeah, we will need a meeting because we will be putting forth a budget towards these things like the cookies and the toys. And yeah, please stay tuned for that. For future events, I'm not sure what else to talk about mostly. I know for next semester, we'll get there when we get there, but for now, it's just those 2 events for me.
Did you have anything you want to add in maybe for finals relaxation next week, or anything that you might need from us, or how many people you need? Because I know you have your committee members sort of signed up.
Yes. I think for this might be a last minute request, but for tomorrow, we could use one more person. But if not, that's totally okay because, Carrie and I will be there and we'll see what works out. But if someone wants to come tomorrow from 11 to 1 p.m. on campus and help us out and got their coronavirus tested, please let me know. But finals relaxation week, my committee will be helping out with most of that. If y'all want to just come out and support, or, in case you see one of my committee members struggling and I'm not there for some reason, please help them out. But for Holiday Angels, I will need your support for that when we come to the drop-offs because I won't be asking my committee. So I think right now we are looking to have maybe just 4 people at a time doing the drop-offs. I think Carrie's busy at the moment if she wants to correct me. But let me know what you think for December 18th, I believe is the day that we want to do that. And times are still being talked about, so I'm not too sure when. But if you're interested in that, let me know as soon as possible. I know it is after school ends, so maybe your schedules will clear up a little bit. But yeah.
All right. Thank you, Louise. And I think I might be able to come by and help you out tomorrow since I'm down the street. I just need to make sure that my COVID test is still whether or not the 30 days has been up since I submitted the test. Once I check that, I'll let you know if I'm able to come or not.
Okay, awesome. I think we also Emmanuel also messaged me. Whichever one, both of you, if one of you wants to do it. Well,
Emmanuel, you can always take it. I went to the last one, so you can go ahead and take this one.
Please be my guest, though.
We can figure this out after the meeting too.
Yes, I'll give you all the information after the meeting. And yeah, I will probably definitely email you all more about Holiday Angels once we know more about the times for the drop-offs. And if you are interested, though, please let me know so I can keep you posted. Just message me or anything.
All right. Thank you, Louise. Thank you for getting us started on this conversation. Now that Louise has gone ahead and gone and talked about what sort of events they've been planning, I just sort of want to hear from all of you, maybe what sort of events that you're planning on doing with your committees or just anything you're thinking of doing for next semester, since you can go ahead and get started on planning now, or if there's anything, if you need help coming up with events that work with your group. But yeah, I'll go ahead and be quiet now and just sort of ask if anybody has anything they want to talk about. You can go ahead and say so now, so you don't have to keep hearing me go on.
I know last night we had a poetry slam with the rest of the Pathways folks for the College One experience. And that was really good. I think just featuring people and making it open to the public is really good. They had over 200 people there. Be community members, faculty, staff, and students as well. So that was really cool, and it's still a great way to connect with other people. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. I know you had good feedback on the last time that you did an open mic when you collaborated with Matt, so I think it'd be a really good idea if you want to go ahead and do that again. Thank you for adding to this conversation, Jasmine. Did anybody else have anything else that they could add in on this?
So something that my committee is looking into do for next semester is to have a regular scheduled game night to host, either probably on our Discord. And then also something that that was brought up during my committee meeting that actually I want to look into more is having a heritage week, and probably teaming up with Jasmine to tackle something along those lines, because that was the one event that they actually seemed to have fleshed out pretty well and what they wanted to see during that week already. So that's what I have I'm looking for next semester.
Thank you, Alex. Does anybody else have something else that they want to go ahead and add in here, whether it's an idea that you want to do for yourself or an idea that you think other people can go ahead and do? If not, then I can just start asking about different events. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and ask, this one's going to be aimed towards Kyle, Alex, and Jasmine. Any updates on the podcasts or anything, or if you guys are still, if y'all are still going to be doing it, or sort of maybe what's the update on that, since I know it was a pretty popular idea last time?
Yeah, so I've been busy. I haven't exactly done much on that front. Everything's set up, as in it's ready to go whenever we're ready to go. I'm planning to have it started, have all the details actually planned out and ready to click start during winter. So we should have our first session starting in spring. But I felt like starting at the end would kind of be a bad thing to do, especially while we're ramping up with finals and everything. So that's sort of the tentative plan for that. I met with Alex a couple times, and Billy's also kind of jumped on board for a bit. He's going to be coming along the way, and I think that'll be really good. And yeah, that's pretty much the podcast.
All right. Thank you for the update. Does anybody have anything else they want to ask, whether it's about an event that's already been mentioned or an event that you want to see, or anything that in regards to our future events? Or Carrie Jordan, if you have anything that you wanted to add to this, you can go ahead and do so too.
Yeah, so I probably should have mentioned this during board reports, but I sent out a big survey for the past 2 weeks asking ICC kind of what they want or what their vision is for spring. One of the things that's coming up obviously is going to be this club rush and how we're going to handle that. Carrie and I have been talking about bringing in a third-party production company to kind of, take the load off of me having to edit and having to schedule all these things. But at the same time, I also gave students the option if they wanted or if they preferred having AS host it. Like last time, like Christina and Jasmine and Luis, I believe. So I'm still waiting on like final results of that survey because it's still out. But I don't know. I just kind of wanted to see outside of ICC what maybe your thoughts on that were.
Anybody have anything to add to this?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of students are more drawn to platforms like what Alex was mentioning, like Discord and stuff. I know that that's something pretty cool that people can like still have breakout rooms in. So maybe like, I don't know, using one of those platforms, because it seems like we're gonna, stay virtual for like the rest of spring semester. I guess setting up something like that to have people, or like to have the students like be able to interact with one another. Because like I
Yeah.
said, biggest thing that we're missing is like that connection, right?
Okay. That sounds good. Actually, now that we do have like a Discord server, I guess what I can maybe ask is that the clubs join that server and then Alex can maybe create like a separate channel specifically for clubs. Again, I don't know. I mean, even me personally, like I don't really use Discord, so I don't really know how to use the software, and I don't know if other clubs would be in the same position, but I think maybe giving them that option would be good. But that's something I didn't consider before, so thank you.
I can always run like a workshop on the basics of Discord for anyone for either any of you or any ICC reps that want to be like taught on how to use it for anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe we can even bring you in during an ICC meeting to talk about that. But I will definitely write that down and consider it. Any other thoughts about bringing in like a third-party company to kind of help us shoot this virtual club rush, or should we do it or should we not?
Yeah, I actually think it's a really great idea. I feel like we could, if it's not too expensive, I'm assuming it's going to be expensive, but if it's manageable, we could probably extend it to a lot of our other events, and even use it as a way of like, it could be PR, but it could also be like them videotaping us at the event doing these things, so that we have like a, I guess, professional video to showcase at the end of the year who we are and what we did all year, because we do so many amazing things, but they kind of get lost in the cracks, and it'll be kind of nice to like document certain things. And if we can bring that third party to do like an end of the year video, I know that's kind of crazy, but if we can use that for PR or to document our events, I think that'll also be great.
Okay. All right. I mean, it looks like a lot of people are pro for this third-party production company, but I think one of the biggest challenges that I anticipate going forward with this is finding the right like people, because that takes time, right? Like finding a company and talking with them and sharing with them what our vision is and seeing if we're compatible. So that's definitely going to be, I guess, partially a challenge. I don't know if anybody's familiar, has connections to somebody that maybe is in the industry or looking for work. But that would greatly be appreciated. But that's something that I kind of anticipate maybe being a challenge, specifically because we're doing this, I don't know, I guess for productions, like in such a short amount of time or a window of time, being that Club Rush is going to be next month, sometime during winter. So.
I guess something to add on to what Kelly said is that it is going to be pretty much dependent upon cost and trying to find someone who's good. And I think that's going to be hard to do, like to weigh the both against each other. Someone who's really good, but also like cost effective. And also, it's a good question to ask is, are they going to be available for a long-term period, as in multiple events? Because if we keep switching between third-party providers, it might lead to different content than if we were to do it all ourselves. Because there's pretty much some consistency when we do it ourselves, but when you have third parties and you have to switch third parties, it might change the kind of content.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I think this is kind of maybe one of those things where I have to involve a lot of different parties. I know Philly is PR, so maybe he has to also get in on this to kind of align our vision and our brand identity. But yeah, it's just a lot of things that need to happen. I know kind of going into this, but I will kind of wait on the results of this survey to see what ICC has to say and take that into consideration. I mean, it's if we were to kind of go ahead and say we're not going to hire a third-party production company, I guess that's fine too. It's just, again, it's just more work for me. I already am not taking winter classes based on the amount of work that I know I'm going to have to do, which, I guess is a good and a bad thing, right? I mean, I don't necessarily need the winter classes, but it's just something to consider.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to add on, but ClubRush or not, I was planning on meeting with the Discord server manager, who's on Alex's committee. And so I think if you do want to do a little bit of, or if you do want that option of doing ClubRush on Discord, I can talk with them and help them set that up for you to put off some work for you. And when it comes to the video production thing, I talked to Christina and like I'd be willing to learn, but I also see in the chat Arian also. So if we do need just one individual or one company that we can stick with throughout the year, I'm also an option, but it might take me some time to learn. So
okay, no worries. It's glad to hear that there are a lot of options out there, but yeah, I'm writing all this down, so we'll see where we can go with this.
And then Jordan, I know you had your hand up. Thank you for being so patient with this.
No, it's okay. So rather than spending money, why don't we look at our resources that are close to us? So for example, I know Matt is really good with video editing since he was starting his own YouTube channel and everything, and especially during this time. So you might want to maybe ask him what that might look like. Or I would suggest if Philly wants to get in contact with our strategic marketing department, they do stuff like this all the time, and especially right now, just to see if it's a possibility because they're there to be utilized, right?
Mhm.
So, and as the governing student body, like I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind doing this and making this sort of like a project for them, because it's not only going to help you in the long run, right, as AS, but it'll also help the school, and it might be something that would be really great to post on our website and everything. So just an idea, just kind of like utilizing the resources that are more closer to us rather than going out and seeking sort of like spending money, which it's going to cost a lot to do something like this. So
Yeah, and it's something that I guess I kind of understood going into this. Like, it's something that I was cautious of, like, based on the fact that a lot of people didn't ask for ICC money in the fall. We have a lot of money for ICC in the coffers, but I don't want to be spending money for the sake of spending money. But it's a balance, right? It's like the balance between taking the amount of time to reach out to resources around here versus just going up to a company and straight up saying, we'll pay you this, what can you do for us? Versus like kind of, I don't know, like asking for favors in and around campus. But yeah, it's definitely like something that I'm gonna have to kind of work out as I move closer to winter and start considering what we're going to do or what the format of it's going to be. So
yeah, and keep in mind, Chris, like you wouldn't be asking for favors, like that's their job.
Right.
Like that's what they get paid to do. So that's why I'm just saying, like, utilize like free resources first and see if like it's a possibility. Then we can like outsource and see if it's not, we can outsource and then look for things as well. But if you need help, just let me know. I can help you with this.
Okay, and I see in the chat too that you and Philly are saying that we should maybe start email chain with PR. That's definitely something that I would be down for, just because it's something that I have no experience with. Like I just kind of did it in the fall just because I saw that's what other colleges were doing. But I think being that, that's PR's job as part of, like you said, that department on campus, maybe they can give better insight. So just let me know. I'll write that down too, just to make sure I get that.
I'll include you in the email. I'm just going to email David Steinman and people that I know in strategic marketing.
Okay.
And then we can all just like meet on a Zoom and discuss possibilities. I think that would be just a good sort of like brainstorming idea kicker for you.
Sure. Yeah, I emailed David earlier this week too, when I was kind of stewing on this idea of a third-party production company, seeing if he knows anybody. He hasn't responded yet. I know people are busy with the holidays, but I have reached out to him already. But yeah, I mean, to further the conversation, I think that would be a good idea to just have everybody and think about what we can do. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Does anybody else have an event idea or something that they wanted to go ahead and get discussion or feedback on? If not, then I'm going to ask it whether or not Carrie, Jordan, if either of you have anything that you want to see from this board that we could do for events or anything that we should keep in mind moving forward, I'll go ahead and open the floor on this.
So you're going to be going into the spring semester, and I know a lot of you've got a lot of different things that are happening in your life and transfer and stuff like that. But to start thinking about challenging yourself to do more programs. I think I'd heard earlier, and I apologize, I had to call, that was CalWorks. I'm still working on the Holiday Angels. You know, they're down in numbers, and it's people are leaving for a lot of reasons. And I think I'd heard some folks say that, you know, folks are really missing this interaction. To really maybe challenge yourself to think about what are some small things that you can do to try and build that community. Maybe it's a bi-weekly, you know, just meet up as a group discussion. Maybe it's, you know, there's an affinity group that you belong to that you want to lead a conversation on. So just to really just throw stuff out there. I mean, we can also do movies again, now that we work to get that whole damn streaming thing out. And movies are cheap. Movies are $350 to $500. And they're really easy to do. We just order it, you put out publicity, and there it goes. You don't even have to do a giveaway like popcorn and stuff like that, right? But do things, some of these smaller things. And for those of you that have not done, have not done a program, I'm going to really push you this year and over winter to get a program down and in the books. Your Constitution, you know, I really have been enforcing the Constitution because right now we're kind of all just trying to survive. But really your students, you could use you to be more visible doing activities. And I know that's a really hard ask because you all have been doing things, and I know it's like we're all just trying to survive. But now we got the winter, now you know what you're doing, now that you're full. Think about some simple things, right? You know, folks did love the town hall and the topics and the concerns. They did like that. I think Jordan's put that in there, and I think that's really good. I think also things talking about, you know, budget, but they can be fun things. Like Puente did a salsa making class. How fun would that be for you to, like, you know, I don't know, how to make boba, right? Or do a 5 ingredient cooking challenge where you name 5 ingredients and people get together and they sign up. Oh, you know what? My God, speaking of, work with Matt, because people love spoken word night and poetry night. Yeah. So really just want to put it out there. If you have not done an event, really going to ask you to, you're going to be up first to do an event next year. And for the rest of you to really think about the spring and look back at what your mission statement is, right? Do you want to go back and do stuff, you know, have a larger conversation, in-depth conversation about Black lives? We've been sending you all to a lot of these trainings. You know, it could be something like simple, like Kyle, you could hold a workshop because we have clubs that don't know how to run a meeting, right? You can run one of those. You could talk to them what an agenda is. You can talk to them about parliamentary procedure. Simple, small things. Exactly. Tips and tricks with AS. You all should have a mixer. Why don't you have a mixer, right? So I think I kept hoping that things would get better and you can do things in person, but now let's just plan for stuff on Zoom. And I don't know, Jordan, I don't know. What are you looking at? You've been in this seat. You've been in the springtime.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Kyle, that was a good idea. A lot of times, like I hear about other committees on campuses, like with faculty and staff that have no idea what parliamentary procedure is and have no idea what Robert's Rules of Order are, right? And I think doing something where, yeah, it can be themed for, you know, the students, obviously, because that's what you're here for. You can still get campus buy-in by saying, hey, reaching out to the, you know, the academic senate, reaching out even to classified management, even to the board members, you know, like board of trustees, because sometimes they need reminding, right, of what it is. That would be a really good idea. I think the other thing too was, I'm just, as Carrie was talking, I'm trying to think of ideas. One of the things that worked really well last year was the town hall, the virtual town halls, where they were themed, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to always be a concern for a town hall. It can be something like, hey, we're gonna have a Black History Month town hall where we bring in all these wonderful Black academics, right? And these Black academias on campus, right? Black individuals, you know, Dr. Lopez, Dr. Cobb, you know, Dr. West, all these people to do something like that for February, right? Or you can do something along the lines of that. It's simple and it doesn't require a lot of work. I know it sounds daunting, but to throw together, like, you know, all this stuff, I can help you with that. It's super easy, or Carrie can help you with that, right? Like we can schedule it a 1 hour one-on-one and we can just kill it. And then you have everything that you need for it, you know? But I think the virtual town halls were really great. I also think that mixers were a really great idea this semester. They went off really well. So you should do an AS mixer, like a welcome back to spring, like a spring fling or something like that, right? I think that would be something that's nice, easy, and effective on campus. So yeah, I agree. I think doing something small can potentially have bigger impacts later on. So
I want to challenge you all because we do a lot with land acknowledgement and you all have gotten a lot of massive props for that. So I'm going to challenge you all to take it to the next step and really, truly maybe share some learning as opposed to just saying the words. So maybe that is, I know that I've mentioned this before to Emmanuel, you live near the Cajamonga watershed. Maybe you go there and you all do like a live session where you walk around, or you go to a museum and you bring students to a museum and you kind of share that information, or you just tape. Remember how I made you do that voiceover PowerPoint when we first started AS? Maybe someone puts together a project where they just do a little bit of voiceover PowerPoint and we put it out there so people can have that information, right? And they can talk about it. I'm going to put Christina on the spot. How did you feel in the day or two leading up to your transfer center event?
I was so nervous. It was like PR. I would reach out to everyone. I was so scared that no one would show up. So yeah, I don't even think I got sleep that night. And then I even like logged on like 2 hours early to practice. But yeah.
And how many people showed up to your event?
Like 50 people.
Yes. And how do you feel now about doing an event?
I feel much better and I want to put on more events.
So for those of you that are hemming and hawing, I did the same thing. I felt the same way. I made poor Louise, I kicked her out there and I made her do a mental health workshop, right? I kind of threw it at her. I was like, here's all this information, talk to these people and put on a workshop. And she did, and it was fantastic. So the hardest one, and I think a lot of folks who've done an event, you know, Jasmine and everyone else can agree, Chris, it's the first one that's the worst one. But once you're done and you're going. Think about the skills that you have. Philly, maybe you do a workshop on how to create Instagram graphics, or what is a good Instagram post for clubs so that they can see how to do these types of things. Play on your strengths, okay? And don't be afraid. You're gonna feel like Christina. You're gonna feel crazy. You're gonna have those butterflies, but once it's done, you're done. And now you know you can do it. So that's all I got, y'all.
Thank you, Carrie, for adding in all of this to our discussion. I just want to open the floor again. If anybody else has anything else that they want to go ahead and add to this discussion, anything they want to ask other people about events they want to do. I know I'm very much down to do an AS mixer. So if someone wants to collaborate on that, if not, I will go ahead and run it on my own. Because I think it'd be nice for students to go ahead and meet us. Since they can't see us on person in the quad, maybe we can meet them via Zoom and Discord and different things like that. So if anyone wants to collaborate on that, I'm open to it. If no one wants to because they have other things they're doing, I will run it on my own. We'll make it work. But yeah, I'll go ahead and open the floor if anybody has anything else they want to add to the discussion. If not, then we can just move on.
I want to, this is something that it's taking a while just because of just all the researching for the correct prices. I have this thing I've brought up to the committee, the sustainability committee, and I would like to do 100 of them. So some grow boxes, and this is one of them. I believe I will be eliminating these stands just because they're a hazard if anyone has any kids, but there's an event that I've been trying to plan, which is doing some sort of drive-by or pickup on this, and then having an event where we host a, say, like a workshop of how to plant. We'd be providing them some sort of like bag pot that could decompose, not a plastic pot, the soil, seeds, a little bit of food, so they can nurture them, and really just show the process and kind of be able to just build a series of events based on that and see the process and then how to be able to take care of the plant. And the preference is vegetation, something that doesn't have such deep roots like cilantro, radishes, onions. And the AS Sustainability Committee said that I got their feedback on this and they believe I should wait till the spring just because of the season. And obviously we had a lot of hope that somehow there would be a vaccination by now, where everyone can go back to, say, their normal life. But we're working on this. We'll have a continued discussion on this on Friday's meeting. And also these legs, like I mentioned, they could be a hazard. So we're trying to do some grommets, but I can't find much locally. I don't want to invest in any shipping. So everything I'm trying to purchase is within the city. But I'm going on a donation approach, requesting donations, since I know a lot of people in the city, and being able to ask them at their places of employment or their personal companies if they could donate any of these things. And of course, you know, we would thank them somehow, like let the people know that these were donations, and kind of just share their business as well, help them grow within the community. But that's just the plan. The hard part is like closing the deal. That's it. Thank you.
Mackenzie, can I respond?
Yep, go ahead.
So, Emmanuel, you might want to look at, like you said, if you want to look towards like in the city, a lot of companies, especially like mom and pop shops, will donate to nonprofits. And AS is, Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong, but are we considered a nonprofit? Okay.
Mhm.
So if we ask for donations from a nonprofit, all they're going to ask for, which Carrie or Dean Cobb will take care of it, they'll ask for the number. and then they will write it off as a tax write-off. So a lot of like local small businesses will look to do that. Case in point, this other nonprofit that I used to be a part of, we used to solicit like Old Town Pasadena for donations from like mom and pop restaurants. And one of them was it's called We Olive. It's like a wine and vinaigrette bread place. And we asked for donated used like bottles to plant plants in to put like around for an event. And so they just donated it and they just used it as a tax write-off. So you might want to just look at maybe doing something like that, which it'll also help other local companies to promote them and to get them out there. So that might also help as well. But I think that's a really good approach to do. I think like exporting and shipping things from China or shipping things from elsewhere is really, really bad. So I think stimulating the local economy is really great like this. And then if we have to purchase some stuff, it can be, small amounts of whatever we need to. So just an idea from my past working with nonprofits.
Right. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. This box actually also I didn't mention. This is all wood that was about to be going into the wood chipper. And all of this is from a waste management company that my dad works at. And I mean, I don't see anything wrong with the wood. And all the screws, I have thousands of them here at home. So I'm just trying to limit, our spending so that we can use it for other stuff or essentials that aren't as easily to be donated, and like just be able to also reduce emissions, carbon footprint. That's a big goal of mine, just because I know I'll be stretching my carbon footprint to go pick up these things, but it'll be less than having to compress the demand for these products to continue to be shipped from the manufacturers. So yeah, that's also something I should address. Thank you.
Yeah, and Emmanuel, if you need more materials or need help like making more of these boxes, I can also talk to my dad because they make stuff like this at his work, and so we can always see if we can come up with whether his work can donate it or if we can get a really low budget on this and see if we can get things like this because they have a ton of that stuff laying around at our house and at his work. So if we need more stuff, we can talk to him and see what we can get. Maybe see if we can get an AS logo carved into some of them. That's the sort of stuff he does.
That'd be great.
And I don't think Emmanuel mentioned that, and Mackenzie touched on this. It's great. You got to give props to Emmanuel because he built that with his father. So he's talking about making he's drafting his dad into making 100 of those. So we might need to get his dad something nice.
Yeah.
The hardest part is the prototype, but once you have it ready, then, once you have all the dimensions, then everything, you already know what you're doing and you're just repetitively doing it. But thank you all for your advice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a really good idea though, Emmanuel. I'm looking forward to seeing how all this plays out. I know I want to get one of these because I am trying to get into plants. So this would be really nice to see. You're going to have to help me make sure this thing doesn't die. But it sounds like a good idea.
I killed the cactuses, so I'm not hopeful.
Carrie, we need to get you forever flowers. Those don't die. Unless you're really trying. Yeah, does anybody have anything else they want to add about future events of their own, something that someone has mentioned, or just advice for people who are planning events?
I can just add on to Manuel because I was gonna type it in chat. It'll be easier to say it. But yeah, Manuel, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be interested in stuff like reducing their carbon footprint. I know a lot of people on campus would be. So if we have like information for them and get them more active, I think it'd be something that can go a really long way.
Thanks, Philly.
Actually, I had a question for you guys. I just wanted to ask because now, since this election thing is over, everything kind of the focus has kind of shifted. I don't know. Is there an area that you guys would like to see in terms of events for my position? I was thinking maybe like know your legislation day, or know how to, I don't know, navigate. But that's very specific, and I'm not sure most people would be interested. Is there anything that's more like general that you think people would actually be excited about? or you can message me. But I'm just opening the possibilities up. Mukbang, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
I mean, I think you hit the point, Kel. I think you hit the nail on the head. Things are going to shift, but it's also important to know that just because, you know, we're going to have a new president, doesn't mean that the situations or the climate is going to get better, right? If anything, this entire year has, or these past 4 years have shown exactly who we are in the US, right? Racist, white, still, you know, white, you know, all that stuff. And so I think for you, you know, it could be things like what legislation is going to get put through now that we have experienced a worldwide pandemic, right? Like at the statewide level, right? Locally, like what are cities doing to put into law, you know, things about it. And so I think it would just, I think for winter, if you are going to do research or anything, you could research things like that and then kind of inform the students of what's going on locally, as well as at the statewide and federal level. So I would just say, you know, even though things are kind of like simmered down as far as elections goes, the aftermath and the consequences of this year are still going to be felt, especially in spring. So I think there's a lot that you could do, but it's just more on research and exactly what focus you want to focus on.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan. That's a really good point that you brought in, because I'm definitely going to incorporate that into the lobby research. Lobby research that we're doing now, and hopefully maybe we can create an event out of the legislation that we found, so we can just educate them that, you know, your dollar towards advocacy is being used correctly, and this is how we're using it.
Kelly, I saw 2 things in the chat that I love. One was YouTube, not the ASMR, Jasmine, sorry. But Luis is also a masterclass about AS, because as much as I hate to make this statement, but in January, we're going to start making plans for elections, right? I know you all just got here. I know we just went through a November election, but we got to start planning. And a lot of times, think about how helpful it would be had been for you had you known certain things before you went into AS or before you went into planning your campaign, especially because it will be online again. So I love the idea of maybe doing a master class, making it YouTube, just so people understand, like, what is it like to be in AS? Why should they want to join AS? And what can they do as activists to represent students? That would be awesome if you could do that, if you're interested.
That sounds, oh.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, I'm finally getting trained to do the website. So now I can start posting stuff on the AS website for you all. And I can also help Philly with that. So this would be a really good thing to post on the main page. Why join AS? Why do all this stuff, right? Like, let's just do it now that we have the tools. Just do it, right?
COVID has made us move into the future and embrace shit we never would have done otherwise, quite honestly.
No, yeah, and made a lot of people retire and quit, which is crazy, but yeah, she's like, Carrie's right. Like COVID has forced us to do things we would have already needed to do. So I think doing a masterclass is a great idea. So, you know, and just keep it there, keep it on there.
Sorry, so wait, what exactly is, this is the first time I'm seeing the word masterclass being used. So like, what exactly is it supposed to mean?
It's a class for masters. No, I'm just kidding.
It's what Jordan's doing. He's in a master's class.
Okay.
No, it's just,
yeah, it's I was just gonna say, it's like so when you go to a master class, it's like you're learning a very specific skill within that one. So like normally in the long time ago's days when we could go to master classes, right? You would go to one to learn how to create a website. That would be a master class. And then they would teach you exactly what to do in order to create a website, right? Or you could attend a master class in education, right? Like you could take a master class or go to a retreat where they do a master class on how to implement social justice theory into practices in teaching, right? That would be a master class. And so what Carrie is saying is do a master class on what it's like being an AS, right? What are the skills that you need? What's required? And what are your personal experiences for it, right? That would be so helpful to students who are like, well, I don't know what it entails, right? I think it'd just be a really good idea.
Thank you for that explanation. That paints a better picture in my head of this. Does anybody have anything else they want to throw into this conversation? I think I saw somebody mute.
Oh, I actually want to say the masterclass is such a good idea. We could even extend that to when we're like recruiting for new members. We could do like a masterclass for each of our positions and kind of, I mean, it could be after they actually come on board, or it could be a PR move, but it just explains, what our position is, what we've done, and what they can do, just so they can kind of understand. Because I know a lot of us went into this kind of cold, and yeah, I think great idea. Yes.
Do you remember a couple months ago, I encouraged all of you to hop on your phones and record a quick 30-second, hey, I'm Kelly Lee, and this is my position, and we would put it on the website? Yeah, that one. That's exactly what this is, right? Just do it really quick, and that would be so fantastic. Yeah. I always use Louise, I know you don't remember, but I always use your walking and talking video that you did in your neighborhood as a great example of just a really short intro. But these are all things that you can do, right? I love these ideas, and we're thinking outside the box. Yes, that's exactly why we have winter.
Oh, yeah, Carrie, you when I was getting onboarded, you told me that this was an idea to do, and I wrote it down, but I was like, I don't know when to start with this, so maybe we can do it in the winter when everyone's in the intersession.
Yes.
This is why we have winter intersession, so we can go ahead and catch up with ideas like this. Just get us ready for spring. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else that they want to go ahead and throw in on here before we move on?
I'm going to put in a quick idea, but I was thinking of something like a tournament style, because I love competitions. But I know one thing that a couple of me and my friends are doing is that we're competing, because we know that we've gained a lot of pounds. So we're competing where whoever runs the most. I'm clearly losing because I haven't ran, but like that I think is really cool. Like different competitions where you kind of engage everyone, and also to exercise. It's gonna be also extended to like gaming too. Yeah, but that's all.
Thank you, Christine. That is a good idea to do. Emmanuel, did you have something that you want to throw in?
I was just gonna ask. I know we received someone reached out to us earlier this semester and was asking about doing a TED event with AS, but I don't know if anyone ever got back to this person. I know I didn't. I was very full of things, but who knows? That could be a possibility. I think they wanted to know before the year was over, this 2020, not the academic year, but that's a possibility. Be able to inform students how to, well, anyone who watches that event, just how we do things at PCC.
Oh, Emmanuel, like a TED event at PCC, or like one of us speaks at a TED event?
TED event at PCC.
Oh, okay. This is good. I have some experience of TEDx. I helped manage one last year and 2 years ago. So I can try to figure out if anybody's interested in setting that up, and we can maybe make a club. And I don't know if I have time for it, so I'll have to find someone.
I'll send you this. I'll look for this email again. I don't know if you ever received that. I don't know how early into the year it was.
It was pretty
I
early.
want to talk about this because we talked about it a while ago.
Yeah, we went back and forth with Sheila Rose, and Sheila Rose sent the student to us. But the problem is people want to turn on a dime. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we want to do a TEDx talk at PCC in 6 weeks. And we're like, no, we don't move that fast, especially because we don't know who you are. And I think you go ahead and do the research for TEDx and TED events. We've turned them down in the past because of the cost and just the amount of work that it revolves around. But maybe because it's remote, it's now easier. So take a look into it and see if you all want to do a TED Talk. You can do a TED Talk. Yeah, it takes half a year to set up. Yeah, these folks were coming to us and they wanted to do it in 6 weeks. And we're like, no. So.
And you can, Carrie, made the joke of like, you can finally say, welcome to my TED Talk.
I have been dying to be able to say that for so long. How about we just have our own TED Talks as AS? Well, we can do that. Run a YouTube. I am down to speak for a whole hour. You all totally love hearing me speak for a whole hour, clearly. The fact that you're still here in these meetings. Carrie knows I can do it.
You want to hear, well, after we're done, I'll tell you a story about Mackenzie and talking.
Oh, no. But does anybody have anything else they want to throw into this lovely... We are having really good conversation. Does anybody have anything else that they want to go ahead and throw in while we're on this topic? Going once, going twice. Sold. We can go ahead and move on to the next agenda item then. All right, so moving on to discussion item B, invited guests, we have none. Discussion item C, A is training. Carrie, the floor is yours for this.
Thanks. I'm going to do this really quick. I want to build on our whole conversation about gender neutral pronouns, about having your preferred pronouns. One thing that I struggle with and I work with and I'm really trying to get better at is when we address folks, to really be conscious of the fact how often we use the term guys. Hey guys, what's going on, right? And how many folks here are guys, right? Certainly not everybody. So just continue on with that whole conversation when we talk about personal pronouns and gender neutral, is just to learn about and be conscious. And this is what we talk about, the real learning. Because whenever we talk about how do we change our behavior, when we talk about social justice, we talk about intersectionality, all of that has to start with introspection from yourself. And you have been socialized. Well, someone tell me, what does it mean to be socialized?
Fit in with a conversation, a common conversation.
It's a common conversation, yes, but more than that, it's about how you were raised, right? So you were all raised in a certain manner, right? In my house, I was socialized to take my shoes off, right? I was also socialized to believe that marriage was supposed to be between a man and a woman, right? Because that's how my parents taught me, and that's how their parents taught them, right? So we're socialized in a way. And the hardest thing is to unlearn those small ingrained habits, like we're using he, she, they, them, and you're always getting yourself caught up. But one of the things that we always do have is, I love that in the chat, we're seeing all of the versions. So let's start thinking about, and it's about unlearning things that we take for granted that are so ingrained in us. So all the time we say, what are you guys doing? But not all of you are guys, or not all of you identify on the gender spectrum. What if you're genderqueer? So let's just think about what are ways and work into our practice and let it be that little thorn in your side, so that way you learn it. If we're so comfortable with this, so if our society just accepts the fact that we're supposed to use he, she, right? We will never change. So I encourage you all gently just to remind yourself, hey, if you use guys, catch yourself again. Don't apologize, you apologize to whatever, or you just go on and say, oops, dudes or them. It's funny because I'm seeing all these little things here about hello, lovely people. I use friends a lot. Y'all. My friends, we argue all the time that in California, dude is gender neutral because we're such a California surfer thing. Hey, dude, that's kind of gender neutral. I don't know. Yeah, welcome to the circus. My friend was saying, you can call folks whatever you want, but just extending our conversation around gender neutral pronouns and gender identity and the fact that we're socialized. Really quick before we go, humans is fantastic. What are institutions that enforce unwritten social cues and codes? So I'll say it again. What are social institutions that enforce these social cues on how to behave or unwritten codes about behavior? Education, that's right. What's another one? Churches, exactly. One last one that is a big, big, big one. Who's got their phone in their hand? Social media. So social media, TV, churches, education. These are all institutions that when we want to talk about how do we change these unwritten social cues, those are some of the, and your family, those are some of the biggest ones that socialize you to act in a certain way. So gonna leave it at that, but really want to encourage folks to start thinking about using the term folks, using the term, you know, I don't know. There are some really good ones. I think you can use hey clowns amongst yourself. I think that one's okay. People is fantastic, right? But let's start liberating our language because now you all started the wave of land acknowledgements. You all were the first ones to put your gender pronouns on your name tags. So let's hope you all can start this new wave on campus of using gender appropriate pronouns or gender preferred pronouns, or using, you know, getting rid of those sexualized identifiers that we don't necessarily need to have. Yes, Christina, you can be the clown, but I would say you can only be the clown in this group. Oops, don't use clowns. Okay. Well, that is true. There is some history with that. So again, we're all learning. So any questions or other thoughts about that? I like the way I saw some of the names come through, so that's really great. So that's all I had.
All right, thank you, Carrie. Does anybody have any last comments, anything they want to go on, add on to this before I move on? No? All right, then we can go ahead and move on with the agenda. Moving on to appointment to college-wide committees. There was a committee that Dean Cobb wanted us to appoint 2 people for. I forgot the exact name of it, but it was involving, for this one, I know Kyle had found 2 students that were going to sit in on this. Does anybody remember the exact name of this committee? Jordan, I don't know if you remember.
Was it student equity?
It's the committee
for the police one.
Yes, it's the committee that informs, that looks for bias within the training manual for police officers for PCC. I think it's called. I don't even know.
I remember the exact name, so I'm like, I don't want to
that's
point to the wrong name, but we know which one it is. So I don't know if we can point how that goes. I was hoping Dean Cobb was going to be here today so she could remind us what it was called.
Campus safe. It's something advisory committee.
I think it was a task force.
Oh. Yeah, I don't remember. I can ask. I can maybe see if that, but we won't get it in time for you to appoint them. So.
Yeah, because I was like, if we don't remember the exact name, we can't appoint for it, huh? Or Carrie, if we don't remember the exact name, but we know which committee you're trying to appoint them for, can we still appoint them?
Was this in last week's minutes? Does someone want to look up last week's minutes?
Check if it's over here. Wait,
Campus police.
Wait, am I even on the right minutes?
Yeah. What Carrie just said.
Philly put it in there. Campus police policy task force.
Yes.
There we go.
Thanks,
Yay, Philly.
Thank you. All right. Kyle, were the people you found, were they still good to go ahead and sit in on this?
Yeah. Are we on to appointments now?
Yeah, appointment to college-wide committees.
Okay. Sure. Let me get their names. 1 second.
I know Philly was also interested in this, but then we were pointed out we should have some non-board members sitting in on this as well.
Okay, you should have told me. I told them both that it was okay because no one commented on our illicit group chat, which we may or may not have, that they could do it. So their names are Joselle Marie Larone, and I'll send these names both to you and Francis after the meeting, and Henry Myers.
All right. Wait, Carrie, do I have to repeat the names, or is it good that Kyle said
That's fine.
Okay.
And I'll send them to you after the meeting.
Then did we have any other college-wide committees that we needed to appoint people on? Because that was the only one I had heard about. I didn't know if there was another one we needed. Carrie, have you heard about any other committees we needed to get folks in on?
So a long time ago, you were asked to provide non-board members to sit on C, student equity.
The student success one?
Michaela's task force.
Yeah, that's student success. That one I currently have me and Jasmine as board members. Then we have Connie right now as a non-board member.
So don't they want another non-board member?
I think they do actually. Ha, that slipped my mind.
So why don't we do that? Why don't we try and not get someone in the family, so to speak?
Yeah.
So that would be the only one, but you don't have anyone. So put that on the agenda.
All right. We need to put Philly on some other committees too, huh?
We
Do
need
we
to
have
college council.
Philly? Do you want to sit down on college council with me and Louise?
Oh, sure.
All right. Yay. Carrie, is it good if I put Philly in on that?
Make the
All right.
announcement.
Then I'd like to go ahead. I'd like to go ahead and appoint Philly to the college council committee. Congratulations.
College coordinating council.
College coordinating council. Carrie, do you want to give a little explanation on what college council is?
It's kind of really fun. It's the big table. It's where the president, it's basically the president and all the department heads and all the shared governance heads come together and they talk about what's going on. Yeah, you don't get to talk much, but if you have something to say, you can. But it's you just kind of hear what's going on.
Yeah, it's a good committee to sit in on. Really, like everything that's been discussed in different, like in academic senate and different other committees, it all convenes here. So if you missed a meeting or you wanted to rehear about something, this is the meeting that you'll go ahead and hear everything on. Yeah,
Kenzie, I have a
college
question.
coordinating council. Yes.
I was wondering, like, is this a committee that I could like go in and visit as public comment, or do I have to be a member to come? Well, actually, they're public meetings, right? It wouldn't make sense but that's a stupid question.
You could come into these if you'd like to.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah.
I think you should discuss with Mackenzie before you speak, though.
Yeah. Depending what
but
you want to speak on, just let me know what it is you want to speak on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, for sure. So we just we're on the same page of what we're like representing and the information we're giving to administration, of course.
And then Philly, I believe I have the link already for the next meeting or not. I'll contact Crystal and see if we can get you on the mailing list now for this. If not, then I'll be sending you the information until we get you on that mailing list. Other than that, I think that's all the information you're gonna need for this. Okay. Any other college-wide committees I need to make appointments to?
Is Michael sitting on BRAC?
Yeah, I believe we appointed him to that 2 meetings ago.
Okay, because BRAC just had a meeting. Or is
No.
having a meeting. It's coming.
We're not having anything until January.
Did they just have one?
No,
Okay.
it was November's and December's are canceled.
Okay.
Great. Do we have anything else? I know we did BRAC because I remember David reminded me last time that we needed to get Michael in on that. That's how I remembered that one. Do we have any other committees? No? All right, then we can go ahead and move on to appointment to AS committees. Does anybody have any appointments for their committees?
I would like to appoint, do I say it all together or individually?
You can say it all together. Just say their names and then we'll make sure that the list of names gets to Francis.
Okay, awesome. So I would like to appoint a few members to the equity committee with the names of Monica Gonzalez, Noelia Cortez, and Consuelo Rios.
Yay, you got committee members.
Yay.
Does anybody else have any other committee members that they'd like to appoint? I'm gonna take that as a no. We can go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. Kelly, do we have any bill acceptance?
Okay, no. Right now, currently we're waiting for the new cycle of legislation to come in, so things will be more interesting once that happens. But yes, the data is really exciting, so we're gonna apply that to what we're focusing on. Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. Moving on to approval of ICC funding. Chris, do we have anything for this?
No.
All right. Moving on to public comment on non-agenda items. Can somebody check the YouTube real quick to see if we have any comments?
No comments and only 2 of us are watching.
All right, lovely. Moving on to announcements. Does anybody have any announcements they'd like to make? whether it's from your club, community, AS reminders. Anybody have anything?
Come out to the drive up or tell your friends. Maybe you shouldn't come out, but yes.
Oh, okay. I'll just say, I just wanted to say, because the UC apps have been extended, don't wait. They have been extended to December 4th, which is in 2 days, but you know, everyone's probably gonna be logging in at night at December 4th. So I suggest everyone to send it in early, as well as the CSU got extended as well. So if you're applying to any Cal States, that got extended. I forgot what date, but I believe it's like next week.
Like the 14th.
And yeah, December 14th. So yeah, get them in. And don't wait.
All right, and then just a quick announcement, the Puente Project will be hosting our PCC alum, Reina Grande, tomorrow from 7 to 8 p.m. And yeah.
You need to RSVP. So if you need the list, contact me or Jasmine, or if you need the link, the Sign Up Genius.
You have to sign up. Yeah, just don't show up.
I have it though. So actually, I'll post it in the chat.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? I'll just go ahead and throw out a reminder. If anybody has anything they want me to include in our little AS blurb about what we've been doing during COVID and the pandemic, let me know by the end of the day if you can. If not, tomorrow's okay too, just so I can get it to Thea before Friday, so that way I can make any edits or anything on something you give me suggestions for. Other than that, that's all I have for my announcements. We can go ahead and move on then to future meeting dates and times. Carrie, are we meeting next week? Because I know it's finals week.
Do you have business that needs to take place?
I know Louise possibly had a budget, and then Chris, I believe, had an item that he wanted to pass.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Chris, I think we're going to have ICC funding, aren't we?
We do, but I don't know if that can wait until winter. I mean, you know, I still have the privacy survey thing because that was my bad. So we can definitely have one if everyone is available. I'm not sure.
I would prefer not to have one during finals, but if we've got business that needs to take place, what do you all feel?
I say skip next week.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know if Louise had a budget that she really needs to pass, we can always maybe do an emergency meeting for it. And then Chris, if his isn't urgent enough for next week, we can postpone it to our next meeting then.
Yeah, I'm okay with postponing it. I think, you know, and I was talking with Gary about this too. Like, I don't know how important it is for AS to necessarily pass this as much as it is. I need to put a little bit of pressure on, you know, not Crystal specifically, but, you know, everyone who needs to basically make this happen in terms of getting it out to students. So.
Yeah, I think the only reason to have you come in would be to approve budgets that went through with Chris. And I'm going to say this, if we have to, are most of you done with finals by Thursday? All we need to have are 6 of you. No, Kyle, no.
We have 3 no's.
Well, we still have quorum. We just need 6 of you. So I think, why don't we look at this? Let's see, because we're going to have this finance meeting. All of ICC finance stuff is supposed to come due today and tomorrow. So we'll know whether or not we have to have a meeting next week. And if we do, why don't we plan for a special meeting on Thursday? And all we need is 6 of you just to pass the budget.
All right, so if we're gonna do next Thursday, so do we just change the date then for future meeting dates to be for that Thursday then?
Or is anyone, yeah, I mean, I don't want to do that to you. I don't know. Why don't we put it to be determined? Because if we don't get anyone, I don't want to meet, you know, the only thing that's going to pull you in is to approve a budget. Put it that way.
All right. So right now, future meeting will be TBD, but if we do end up having one, then your items will be due by the 3rd. Should we go off like that?
Yeah.
All right. Then on that note, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 1:41 p.m. Can I get a motion so we can wrap this up?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
First by David, second I believe I heard Emmanuel first. I'll go ahead and call you based off how I see you on my screens right now. Alex?
Aye.
Emmanuel?
Aye.
Christina?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Philly?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Louise?
Aye.
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jasmine?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. Let me go ahead and stop sharing and get us off the live.